Welcome to the Dad Show podcast. How y'all doing? Today is part 5.
But then you're thanking God for that,
yes.
that she is that way. And
yes,
unfortunately, her unfortunate situation,
yeah,
what she's had to go through, but how powerful is that she's, and that's huge, man. On a note that I just had whenever you said that is not only, yes, go do your thing as a spouse. I'm just talking as a spouse,
right.
Go do your thing.
Yep.
Go provide, or I'll be here. You go do what you need to do. She's not doing that. And that's huge as a spouse to be like, no matter what, I'm going to support you.
Yep.
I'm going to be here with you. I'm going to encourage you. You go off and do your thing. I've got the home front.
Yep.
If we're on the road together, I'm going to remind you to go talk to that student before we leave. Like, the support of a spouse and what you're trying to accomplish is huge.
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 Have you ever had a crazy idea and Allie's like, yeah, just go with it?
Oh,
try to figure it out.
No, I thought you were going to go the other way with it. I was going She's usually like, no, we're not doing that at all. And then my stubbornness, no, we're doing it. We're going to do it. Then it fails. And then she's like, I told you so. And,
Yeah. Cara has, I'm going to tell you, Cara has been my greatest supporter. Doesn't matter what it is. I mean, even if it's the weirdest idea, I've never built anything in my life. You hand me a hammer, I'm going to use it wrong.
Yeah.
All right. But she's the one it's my dad calls her the son he always wanted. But she's very talented and she can do all kinds of things, but I don't build anything. But when I didn't have a job, I had this crazy idea that if people bought a playground that needed to be put together, I was going to put it together.
Yeah.
I don't have any tools. I don't know how to put anything together. I'm just not good. I won't say I'm not good at it. I just never learned how to do it.
Exactly. Yeah.
And she was like, yeah, all right, let's try it. Let's give it a shot. It was like 3 weeks and she's the one doing it, and I'm like the assistant and I'm like, this is not what I imagined this being,
Yeah, exactly.
And I asked her one, I was like, do you like doing this? She's like, I hate it. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
I'm done.
Switching up ideas. Here we go.
Yeah. Cause basically I'm just going back to childhood and holding the flashlight, know? but anything. And even with this idea of I'm going to go speak all over the country and maybe even in Canada, whatever, it's what I feel like God's calling me to do.
Yeah.
And she's been like, yeah, let's run with it. Let's see what happens. And, she does not believe in the word fail.
Yeah.
She don't believe in it. She believes that everything is educational.
Wow.
You learn from it.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as failure in her eyes.
Huh.
And that's how I know that God designed her for me.
Yeah.
Because as many times as I think that I fail, she's always there to go, what'd you learn?
Yeah.
Like, what'd you learn in that experience?
Yes.
Like, what are the top 3 lessons, or what's the number 1 lesson you learned in that? And it gets me out of that mindset of, man, I failed her, I failed the kids. And I'll tell her that, I failed you in that moment. She's like, no, you learn from it. Like, if you feel like you're telling me that you failed in that moment, there's something that you learn from it. So what is it?
Yeah, exactly.
And she always gets me out of that mindset. And as a husband, I need that. As kids, my kids need her to be that wife to me.
Yeah.
They
need to see that.
Yeah. And I'm telling you, I know that she was designed for me.
Yes.
That God knew that I was going to need someone who didn't see failure.
Yeah.
But saw that, like, hey, this is educational. This is a learning opportunity. And sometimes it drives me crazy. I'm like, no, it failed. And she's like, nope. talk to me in 6 months, and we'll be sitting down one day and I'll go, you know what I learned from that? And she'll go, oh, here it is. Oh. Here it is.
Don't tell me I was right. Don't
kids, come in. Your dad has an announcement.
Now tell him I was right.
Yeah.
And then you tell me.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So it's been, I don't know, man, 22 years, and it's been super cool.
That's awesome.
To look back at it, to what it was, to what it is now.
Yes.
I mean, to where we can make our kids just be like, gross. Like, it's so fun, like, I'll give her a kiss in the kitchen and my 16-year-old would just be like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, we'll do that again.
Yeah. But they need to see that.
They need to see it.
Kids need to see you being affectionate, you're supportive, loving, caring, because if they don't, then all they're going to look for is that abusive relationship,
right?
Or finding another out.
Yep.
They need to see that in the home.
They need to see it. I will say that sons and daughters.
Yes, yeah.
My son needs to see me being affectionate with my wife, and my daughters need to see that too.
Yes.
And on top of other things, they need to see the forgiveness. They need to see the grace. They need to see all of that.
Yeah.
The appreciation.
Yes.
Because you are raising. The way that you're raising your kids is what they will look for when they become adults.
Yes, exactly.
If it's abusive, they're going to look for abuse.
Yes.
Because that is what they're in tune to. That's what they're used to. And that's what they're going to look for. If it's loving, if it's caring, if it's unconditional, they're going to look for that. And man, I'm telling you, I none of my daughters right now have boyfriends. But I'm telling you, thank the good Lord, there's some high expectations, not on my part, on their part.
Well, it is your part. It's what you've instilled in them throughout their lives that you showed them.
Yeah.
Don't settle.
Yeah.
This is what you need to be treated like. This is what you deserve to be treated like.
Yeah.
Not just some dirtbag that's, going to abuse you and use you and, talk to you like you're trash. Like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Still open the car door for my wife.
Yep.
So they think it's weird. And I'm like, why do you do that?
Yeah.
I'm like, it's just a sign of respect.
Exactly.
I open the door. I'm the last one to walk through the door for the whole family.
Yeah.
I do have one daughter who just refuses right now. She's like, you're going in before me. And I'm like, no,
she's not stubborn at all, is she?
No, it's not like her dad at all. Yeah. But it's those things, and and then I see them reciprocate that in friendships and just the way they treat random people. You know, how you interact with your kids and engage with them, man, it matters.
That was like last night, and this was very, very small and minor detail, but through our extravaganza of having to walk from the Justin Timberlake concert back to the Strip to get an Uber ride back to our vehicle. That's a whole nother story for a whole nother podcast. But it was raining on top of everything else.
Yeah.
And we're walking up the sidewalk, and Allie was on the we just got to this street, and she started on the roadside. And I said, no, you move to the opposite side. I'll be near the cars. That way, if one comes, it hits me, or, if it hits a big puddle of water, it drenches me, doesn't drench you. Like, that's those small details that as a gentleman, as a man, probably happens more in the South than it does anywhere else.
Probably.
I have to say. But that's huge. Like, and I know my kids weren't present to be able to see that, but need to see that stuff.
But they've seen it before.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they've seen it before. Yeah. And those are, they notice. Kids pick up everything.
Yes, they do.
Everything.
Yep.
Good and bad. Good and bad.
Yeah.
Good and bad. I mean, we haven't been Christians our whole marriage,
No,
and so
exactly.
There were moments where our kids said things in front of other people, and we're like, oh man, that I don't know where they got that at.
Dang music, I tell you what.
Yeah, it's kids. They just notice, man, and I don't know. I'm super. I've said it a bunch, but I'm just super blessed.
Yes.
That God showed me a way to not think about myself, but to put them first, to put him first and them first in everything that I'm doing. you know, and that's
huge.
The moment that one of my kids would say, "Dad, get off the road," I'd get off the road.
Yeah.
If they came to me and said, "Hey, it's this how it's making me feel. I need you."
Yeah.
I'm done.
I got you.
I'll find something else to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go work at Walmart and greet people or something.
Yeah.
But if they need me, I'm going to be there.
Well, and they, you know, I completely understand 100% what you said. And that's, not to go off another tangent, but you know, I've tried to start those businesses. I've tried to do those ideas to make more money I'm not doing it for the glory of me. I'm doing it to make more money so that my family has more.
Yeah. But
when I've been out there doing it, it almost makes me want to cry because I'm like, I'm doing this for the right reasons, but it's taken away from the reason.
Right.
And, you know, like your kids recognize, yes, you're on the road, you're doing God's work. You're doing what you're called to do.
Yeah.
And they completely understand that. And, you know, 100%, I think if they said, "No, Dad, I need you here," like you would be there in a heartbeat.
In a heartbeat.
Yeah.
You know, and even if it's, you know, I need you to cancel that gig and I need you now, I would cancel it. And I think the neat thing though is like, I can take that out of the equation because if they do feel like that, I do have the ability to go, "Why don't you just come with me?"
Yeah.
"Why don't you come with me?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Let's hang out. We'll spend a couple extra days where we're going."
Yeah.
And then we'll come back and let's just spend some, we're going to do some work. We're going to work together. You're going to help me set up and, you might have to videotape some stuff, take some pictures, but after that, we're going to have us time.
Yeah.
And I'm in a position where I can do that, but
that's so awesome.
But I don't know, man. I ended up with some of the best kids that I could ever, despite the diagnoses.
Yes.
Diagnoses. I don't know.
I'll go with it, whichever way.
Whatever it is. They've thrived and they've overcome so many things. And I'm just, I don't know. I can't tell them I'm proud of them enough.
Yeah.
You know, I went and did a thing last night with a school and I took Ariana with me, my 18-year-old, high functioning autism, very reserved, very quiet, not outgoing, but she went and worked this table with me. And I will tell you that every time a little one came up to the table, she got down on their level, interacted with them, asked them questions, talked with them, used the words that I use, you know, talked my lingo, and they would leave and she'd stand back up and I would just watch. And we got in the car and to come home and I said, "Hey, I'm really proud of you." And she was like, "Oh, thanks, Dad." You know, like for her, it's uncomfortable for her.
Yeah.
And I told her why, you know, like, you're very reserved, you're very quiet, you're very shy. Interactions just aren't your thing.
Yeah.
I said, but man, those little kids, like the only reason that they kept coming up to the table was because you kept getting on their level.
Yes.
And like that.
Well, the message meant so much more coming from her than it ever would have from you.
Right. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we were driving home and I just kept talking about it, you know, "Oh, this happened. I heard you say this to that kid and that was awesome." And, you know, we got home and, she walked in the house and my wife, she goes, "How was it? How'd tonight go?" You know? And Ariana went, "I mean, Dad's proud of me, so it must have went pretty well." And I thought, that's what I want. Like I don't want her to walk through that door and go, "Don't even ask."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You know, I remember those moments as a teenager, coming home and my mom being like, "How was football practice?" And, "Don't even ask," you know, because Dad came home and decided to come pick me up so Mom wouldn't have to, and he drove me home and then he gave me this big lecture on the way home and then I'm just like, "Oh man, I'm over it."
Yeah.
I'm done, you know.
Those times that you were like didn't want to go home because you didn't want to have to tell what happened.
Yeah.
Or how bad the practice was.
Right.
Or, from my aspect, it was more on like my rounds of golf. You went on score. Like, I didn't want to have to go home and say, oh,
yeah,
I shot 10 over today, like,
yeah,
man. Yeah.
Yeah. And just to have her come home and just be like, Dad's proud of me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a cool feeling.
Oh yeah.
I don't know.
That's powerful words, man.
Yeah.
They're so simple, so powerful.
So simple and so powerful.
Well, let's, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're good. We have tore it up today.
If you got 5 minutes in a coffee shop with somebody that, a brand new husband, him and his wife are struggling through just life, not necessarily anything in general. And they've got some young kids, a couple of young kids. And he's like, man, I just feel like I'm failing. Yeah. Like I feel like it, every day's a struggle. And nothing, it's just life. There's no medical diagnosis involved. There's nothing, like no extramarital stuff going on or anything like that. Like he's just like, I'm struggling. Like, what would you have? What kind of advice would you have for that?
Yeah. When's the last time you were intentional about serving them individually? Complimenting them, loving them, taking care of them. Those things create joy in both parties. And if you feel like you're failing at being a dad and being a husband, there's only one way to reverse that.
Yeah.
It's to provide joy and love to your family.
Wow.
And so if that's how you're feeling, I've got to ask that question.
Yeah.
When's the last time that you took that little one on a one-on-one and you were intentional with it? You didn't take him to the park and put him on the swing and get on your phone and scroll through it.
Yeah.
You pushed him on that swing. You sat on the swing next to him and you swung. You showed him what you did when you were a kid on a swing. Like, when's the last time you did that? When's the last time you sat down with your wife and you listed the things about her that you were thankful for?
Wow.
When's the last time that you told her? Like you wrote it all down and then you said, here's my top 100 and there's more where this comes from. Like, when's the last time you did that?
Yeah.
And so that she understood that you recognized, that you see it, that you love her, that you appreciate her. That's going to create so much joy in her. And when you see them joyful, you're joyful.
Yes.
And then you don't feel like a failure anymore because you're not, and you never were. You don't realize how much those kids love you. You don't realize how much your wife loves you, especially in those moments of, I'm failing, I'm not doing enough, I messed that up, and you don't realize it.
Yeah.
And man, those kids, they think you are the top of the world.
Yeah.
Your wife, she defends you behind closed doors. They love you. The only way to fail them is to walk out on them.
Yeah.
That's the only way. You can reverse it. Like, one-on-ones, provide joy, and just love them.
Be present.
Be present. Be intentional about everything that you do as a husband and a father. You won't feel like a failure. I don't have it all together. I don't.
Yeah.
But I know in the moments where I'm like, this isn't working out for me. I don't like the way I feel today. If I go to one of my kids and I'm like, hey, you want to go grab a hamburger and then go see a movie and then maybe go to the mall? Yeah, let's go. And then there's my time to be very intentional with them.
Yeah.
Changes everything. Anytime that you provide joy and love to others, it's not just them that receives it. You get a piece of that.
Wow. Yeah.
And you start to feel better. And I tell this in schools all the time. If you want to reduce violence in your school, you give compliments when you're walking down the hallway. Instead of, I don't like the way you look, I love your hair. Yeah. I love your glasses. I love that shirt. I love your shoes. I love the way you smile. I love the way you make me laugh. I love the way that you talk. Like, you do that you do it in your families.
Yeah.
You won't be a failure. You won't ever feel like a failure.
Yeah, that's so powerful, man.
Because they'll come to you when they feel that way.
Yeah.
That's how you know.
Wow.
You haven't failed. The moment they come to you and they're like, I don't feel so good. Can you make me laugh? Yep.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I have to do.
Exactly. Show love.
Show love. And all of it.
Wow. That's awesome.
You will not, you're not a failure at all.
That's so powerful.
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah.
Man, I'm so proud of you.
I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you.
That. That's so great what you're doing and making a difference. And
well, it's great what you're doing. I mean, the dad show, and I mean, you want to change the world, get to the dads.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We hear all the time, we need more dads to be dads.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, you want to change the world, get to the dads, and that's what you're doing. I'm proud of you too, man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. It means a lot.
Thank you.
It really does.
Yeah.
If our viewers want to go and connect deeper with you and get in touch with you and follow you and, you know, hear your stories and your social media content and all that, is there a certain place that they can go?
Yep. They can go to nathanrayspeaks.com. It's WRAY. And you can go to that Nathan Ray on TikTok and Instagram, and that's where I am. And it'll be nice to have someone other than a middle schooler follow me. So that'd be cool. But
I follow him. I do. Yeah. He's got some great content. He really does.
But it again, if you just need somebody, you need another dad to talk to, different perspective, I'll make time for it. I believe that, I forget where I heard this, but you'll either find time, make time, or run out of time.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's big.
And I live by that as a dad and a husband.
Yeah.
I'm either going to find time, make time, or I'm going to run out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to run out of it.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's good, man. Yeah. That's so good. So guys, go follow Nathan. If you can't find Nathan, get in touch with me. I promise you, I'll put you in touch with him. As you've heard today, he's got some great wisdom, great little nuggets, and just a great mentor, man. So
it's God's wisdom.
Amen.
It's his.
Heck yeah, it is.
I wish I was this smart.
Me too. Me too. Guys, I hope y'all have a blessed day. As always, we love you, we thank you, and we're proud of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to the Dad Show podcast.
Thank you for listening to the Dad Show podcast. Please like, review, and subscribe.